We're back, baby. We're back. I hope everyone's been well. It has been a while. My wheel broke completely, so it's been a long, dark journey. RIP Thrustmaster. And welcome Fanatec as we start now our quali lap. So heading into turn 1, Paddock Hill Bend, famous corner. It's really important to get that turn in spot on so you get the minimum apex speed going into T1, T2. Shift down into second gear, use all that extra curb. You can really make the most of the track width there. Same with turn 3 here. Make sure to run out onto the green stuff there. Plenty of grip, and obviously can make full use of the track width. This corner, we went a bit wide there. Wasn't ideal. You want to really tuck the car in and get early on the power. This back straight's going to really dictate how quick you are. So you want to get on the power early. Fast right-hander in fourth, just a slight lift and dab with the brakes into that one, and then this blind right-hander, very easy to run wide, so be careful, you don't want to go into that gravel trap. That will absolutely bin your lap. Same with this one, blind over the crest, just want to get right up to that white line. Left-hander here, bit of positive camber, makes it pretty nice and easy to get some good minimum apex speed through that one as we head into the last turn. Drop it down to third, early on the power, try not to run wide, and then go on the inside for the shortest run to the line. And we should come across with a 1:27.2, so that puts us 1.5 tenths behind pole. So not a bad run, especially considering the time off, so I was pretty happy with that. Obviously the Audi's pretty quick around here, so it's probably more the car than me if anything. But yeah, we got McEwen on pole, so super effort from him. He's a quick driver in the Alpha. We've got good competition here, I think. We got Phillips in third, Rebecca fourth, Twitchy in fifth, Conzio, Shumi, Zephos in the Beamer, Apex Humper and DB007 rounding out the top 10 as we get started. So obviously cold tyres, we're running the soft tyre to start with, so cold tyres you want to be just careful of the last, especially the first sector, just to be safe. It's very easy to ruin a race in the early parts of these FIA races with cold tyres, so just want to get into a bit of a rhythm, build the confidence up. You can't win a race in the first few corners as McEwen runs wide there, so that gives us a very good run into this very important part of the circuit. So again, McEwen's a bit wide, that's going to cost him some exit speed as we have probably one of the fastest cars in Group 4. We can see we're absolutely just destroying the Alpha in terms of straight line performance, which is of course not its strong point, so quite an unevenly matched duo here. So these two cars find their speed in completely different ways. Obviously the Alpha is very good on these tight and twisty sectors, whereas the Audi is just a straight line monster really. So again, McEwen runs wide, that gives us a good run. We're going to try and send it around the outside, but it's going to be tough because the Alpha's got very good handling, and you can see McEwen and I have put out a bit of a gap at this point, so there's a small gap to Rebecca in the Volkswagen behind, but McEwen does well, he holds on. You can see he gets too much of that inside curb and again almost loses the car, so he's just struggling to find a bit of rhythm as we try and send it around the outside. McEwen does enough to keep his position, but we have had a very putting a lot of pressure on in this early part of the race, which is obviously good. It'd be ideal if we could get past and gap some of the others behind and just start the race in a really good fashion. Obviously tyre wear is going to be a factor, so if you can get in front and look after the tyres. It's going to be a huge benefit. So we're going to try around the outside again, going into the right-hander. We can see side by side, right on the edge there. That's really good driving from McEwen there. He's left me exactly a car's width. Again, you can see Twitchy's coming up on the inside, and it's a bit of contact there, but I've got to kind of back out and make sure we don't contact, because I could have been sent off into a dark place. Rebecca, she's trying to go around the outside. It's a bit ambitious. There wasn't much room, but she's gonna drop down into 6th position now. Phillips has made a move up into 5th. Conzio's in 4th, and Conzio's all over the back of me right now, so I'm just being shuffled down the field after challenging for the lead only a few corners ago. It's so easy for this to happen. If you just get offline, everyone pounces. Rebecca made a bit of contact from behind there. Still have managed to keep the car on the road though, that's the main thing. Obviously it's not ideal to lose a couple positions, but Twitchy did quite an aggressive move up the inside. There was space and I just had to back it out. So the main thing is just, as we see that Twitchy's going for the move on McEwen, so a good few corners there for Twitchy. He's made up a few positions and he's going into the lead of the race. That Mazda will definitely out-drag the Alpha up the back straight, as we're tucked in behind Conzio. Unfortunate to lose the position to the Honda, as McEwen gets a penalty up ahead, a 1 second penalty. So that's going to cost him a lot of time as he serves it coming out of the next left-hander coming up now. But McEwen's had a tough early stint there. Look, he's going very sideways, bit of Tokyo drift action there, but that's going to cost him big time. So he's dropped down into 6th as we shift to McEwen's on board. You'll see here again he's getting all over Siri and out of shape, so that's the end of his race. So the pole sitter could not convert today, unfortunately, as it looked like a bit of a handful to drive, that Alpha. So we settle into 3rd place. Again, we've got a car ahead of us running wide. Conzio at this point is about a 1.5 seconds off Twitchy. We don't want to lose that draft obviously up ahead, so it's very important that we stay in that slipstream. So you'll see at this point I just bump draft Conzio just to try and close that gap. We don't want to fall too far behind the leader, and it'd be better to work together to try and fight for the lead obviously. So it's a good start to the race, pretty hectic. First race back, definitely a lot going on. Wasn't like a relaxing first 4 laps for sure, as we now try and settle into this race and just settle down and try and think of a way past the Honda ahead. Ideally we can either work with the Honda or make the move and try and get the position on Twitchy up ahead. So still in it, obviously not ideal losing a few positions early, but I think at this point it's just a matter of just keeping cool, minimizing mistakes and not getting any stupid penalties or anything like that. So you can see a lot of other drivers that we've been around. We have McEwen and Conzio now just making a few mistakes, just running a little wide, and that's all you need to get a good run. So here we sell a bit of a dummy. We got enough room up the inside there to make a move into the right-hander. Obviously the Audi is quick in a straight line, so if you can get a good exit, that's all you really need to get the job done. And Conzio didn't defend too hard. I think as we take a look at the replay, I think he knew that the position was lost. So up into P2, that's just what we needed. So we can see Twitchy up ahead. He's got a bit of a gap, but we're closing in. I think at this stage of the race we've definitely got the most pace in the top 5. As we look back at Phillips, who's in the Porsche, he is having a good fight there with GT Rebecca in the V-dub. So both of them are doing really well in the top 5. As we cut back onto the onboard here, Twitchy up ahead. So as we set another purple sector, that's just what you want to see as a racing driver's favourite colour, purple. So that's good stuff. We've got some good pace on. Obviously, it's worth mentioning strategy at this point. So this race required the medium and hard tyre. So they were mandatory. So at some stage, everyone's going to have to switch over to those 2 tyres. So we're running the softs. I think most people up the front here would be on the soft tyre and trying to get as much pace out of the car as possible in the early stages to build a gap and get a nice, comfortable pit stop to the rest of the field. So we can see here Twitchy doesn't quite get on the power too well on the exit of that last corner as we cross the line. Just around the outside, we're going to try and stick it around there. We'll see what Twitchy does. He does give us enough room. We just about squeeze ahead, and then we can defend into T2 there. So that was a really nice bit of driving from Twitchy actually to leave that space. I gave it a go, and he obviously, I was relying on him to be a good driver, which he definitely was there. So well done to him. That was pretty clean racing, and we get the job done. So that's a pretty nice move. We see on the radar there, Twitchy's still got a run on though up the back straight, obviously helped by a bit of slipstream, and we come into the right hander. We managed to hold position, and hopefully we can settle down and try and build a bit of a gap, because the Audi does not like front tyre wear, and obviously we want to take these soft tyres as far into the race as we can because they're the fastest tyre. So managing the tyre, especially the fronts, that's the key now. Let's try and build a bit of a gap, and that's, you know, sometimes easier said than done. With slipstream, obviously it's not easy to pull a big gap, but we do come across the line, finish another lap, and we're on to lap 9, so we're halfway through. You can see down the bottom the front tyres don't look too bad. They are slightly worn, but it's not unmanageable at this stage. And we're going to try and look to get these tyres at least to about lap 11, lap 12 before making the stop onto medium tyre. So now, so we've got about 6/10 in hand over second place as we cut forward just to the end of that lap, and we can see Conzio is making a bit of a move on Twitchy for second place, as Twitchy peels off actually into the pit lane to do his first stop of the race. So he'll be coming off the soft tyre, putting the medium tyre on. It's about lap 9 at this point, the end of lap 9, so he comes out into 5th place. So we've got a bit of extra laps in hand on the soft. That ideally we want to see if the soft tyre, that's obviously 9 laps old, we want that to be still faster than a new medium tyre that Twitchy would be on now. So it's all about keeping the tyre life in good stead so that you can extend the stint as much as possible on the fastest tyre. So that's what we're doing now. We look through the top 5. We've got Phillips in 3rd, Apex Humper in 4th in the Porsche, and then we've got Twitchy, who's come out in 5th in front of GT Rebecca there in the V-dub. So really good race from the top 6. There's a bit of a gap to the rest of the field at this point, so definitely some good pace on at the front of the field. We've got now the end of lap 10. We just want to see what our lap time is. We want to make sure that that soft tyre is still holding good performance. I think we're going to do another lap for sure, because we haven't dropped off our pace too much. We were setting a few purple sectors still, So that's only 3.5 tenths off. So that's not too bad with tyres over 10 laps old. So the tyres are in pretty good shape at this point. You can see the gap to Conzio now is about 2 seconds. And of course, we don't know the gap to Twitchy, so we don't know what lap times he's putting in at this point, but all we can do is run our own race and be as consistent as we can. We don't have the benefit of an engineer telling us what the gaps are, like in Formula 1 and stuff, obviously. So it's up to the driver just to make their own decisions and make their strategy calls. So we're going to run into lap 11. We can see we're 3 tenths down in that first half of the lap as we head around the back of the circuit. Head into third gear, nice and smooth over the hill. And this corner is really tricky. You've got to really make sure that you don't run wide on the exit and drop a wheel. Same with this corner, it is easy to come across too far and drop wheels onto the entry, but we've kept it clean that lap. As we head into the last corner, drop it down into third gear and be nice and smooth on the power just to keep those front tyres alive. We come across the line now, lap 11, and we do a 1:29.0 as Apex Humper comes into the pits from 4th place. So the 4th place Porsche is in to make his first stop. So we can see now, we'll be able to see where he comes out relative to the rest of the field. We see GT Rebecca just coming past now on in the V-dub there as we shift to a replay. I think this is of Art Phillips. So Phillips runs a bit wide in 3rd place. He managed to just about keep that together, but that's so easy to do on this circuit. It's so easy to just run slightly wide, and you're carrying so much performance and speed that when you drop a couple wheels off, it can be a very scary moment as we duck into the pits. So we've gotten to the end of lap 12. It's just about time now. The fronts are getting a little worn to shift off the softs off and get the mediums on. So we come out the box now. We see Phillips there. He's just had his moment, but he's managed to come into 2nd place. Conzio still hasn't pitted. Phillips again, yet to stop, but we've managed to come out into 3rd. Twitchy is behind, so we can see we've managed to actually gap him quite comfortably there. That's a few seconds, I reckon, in hand that we've actually pulled out over the stop. So the soft tyres did actually pay dividends. Being able to run those soft tyres just slightly longer has allowed us to put in some good lap times relative to the medium runners. So we've got a 3-second lead now over Twitchy, and it's just about trying to close in the gap on the 2 ahead. Obviously pit stops are going to come into play as we come into this right-hander. We see Phillips ahead, where looks like we're already slightly closing in. We've definitely got more straight line performance than Phillips does in that Porsche. So we do have the advantage there, and we've got fresh medium tyres as we look at Conzio. We'll see if he comes into stop now. He's going to have to box soon, unless he's running a medium tyre. If he is running the soft tyre, then he would likely be stopping now. So yeah, he comes into the stop. Phillips, I don't know if he's following him. We see Conzio, the crew, getting to work, putting in the hard yards as they come out. You'll see Phillips and I both just come past, but Conzio does get the jump on Twitchy, so Conzio into a net 3rd or even net 2nd, depending on what Phillips is doing at this point. So Phillips still yet to stop. He could be running the alternate strategy. As we look back at Conzio, we see that gap there on Twitchy, so it's definitely paid off to run those soft tyres slightly longer. Both Conzio and I have managed to gap Twitchy quite comfortably there, which is really going to make the second half of this race a lot easier if we don't have too much pressure from behind. We see Phillips running wide. Obviously he's on used tyres, so he's running out of some front end grip there, and that gives us a nice run into the back end of the circuit, but it's really 1 by 1 on this part of the track. You don't want to be doing anything too audacious This is really just single file. Obviously putting pressure on though, just in case there's a mistake, but someone of Philip's quality, I don't think he's going to be making too many errors. He's running it slightly wide though, but that can be expected on such old tyres. As we head into the end of lap 14, we've got a lot of pace on the Porsche here. We've got a good run. We'll see if we can make, probably too far back to make a move into T1 as we head down into turn 1. We can see the Porsche is definitely just lacking a bit of speed at this point in the race relative to what we've got, but it's important not to make any contact because it's so easy to get one of these 1 second penalties with the new penalty system, as we get this pretty cool shot over the curbs. Philip's now heading into the back straight. We can see we've got a good entry into that corner, but we're a bit compromised on the apex as we almost had too much pace relative to Philip's. And he goes a bit defensive, but I'm not going to be making a move there. It's going to be way too risky. But we're all over him at this point, so it looks like Phillips is going to do a one-stop strategy at this point. It looks like he's just going for a one-stop on the mediums to the hards. So we can see we've got a lot of performance over the Porsche head, but it's just a matter of being patient. All the while we've got Conzio just behind in the Honda, so he'll be catching as we try and go around the outside. We saw Phillips run a bit wide. That's going to compromise him as we go into the final turn. Going onto the back straight, Phillips again is going for another lap, so he's onto end of lap 15, onto lap 16. We've got the momentum around the outside. Will Phillips give us the room? It looks like we've probably got the job done as we managed to just cut across and take the inside line into T2. So really clean driving there from Phillips. I've raced a lot with him, and it was very good driving between the two of us, really, not to make any contact. But for some reason there, Phillips has picked up a 1 second penalty, so that's gonna hurt him a hell of a lot now. We'll look at the replay. We can see we got the job done around the outside. There's not much Phillips could do at this point, but just on the apex he does a little kiss, and that's just what I was referencing earlier. It's very easy to just pick up a penalty with this new penalty system, so pretty unlucky there for Phillips. It definitely wasn't a malicious move or anything. It was just unlucky that he happened to just make a little bit of contact, but he's going to have to serve that coming into the next left-hander coming up now. So that should allow Conzio to make the move into P2. As we see now, Phillips serves his penalty. That gives Conzio more than enough momentum to take P2. So that's costly for Phillips. That's a real shame as he ducks into the pit. So this is going to be his only stop. He makes contact with the wall, so that might cost him a little bit of time, and this would be a shift onto the hard tyre. So the hard tyre is mandatory. Have to use the hard tyre at some point in this race, but so Phillips has done his one and only pit stop, so it's really going to be a matter of can Conzio, myself and Twitchy, how are we going to fare with the extra pit stop that we now have to make, obviously relative to Phillips, who's just done the one. But we can see we've got a bit of a gap. We've got a tyre advantage on this lap as well, of course, because Phillips is on the hards and we're on the mediums, so we should have enough pace to cover him, but it's all just about keeping it clean as we head around the back end of the circuit, lap 17 of 18. The mediums still looking in pretty good shape. We've got plenty of fuel to get to the flag. That's not a factor at all in this race, so we don't need to worry about that. So we'll just keep it clean, and we're coming in now to our second and final pit stop. So we'll see where we end up. Conzio and Twitchy should be coming in to which will leave Phillips remaining out there. We'll see where we come out as the pit crew get to work. We can see the top 3 have all boxed. We come out now, and Phillips, where does he come? He looks like he's in 3rd, so Conzio's even got the job done. So it looks like it's Phillips 3rd, Twitchy 4th, and we've got Conzio up into 2nd place. So Phillips' alternate strategy, it definitely it looks to have got him a 3rd position, so it hasn't been bad at all. He's definitely jumped to Twitchy. So now it's just about for us. We just got to keep it clean. We've got 1 more lap to go on the hards. It's so easy on the hard tyre. A cold hard tyre is always pretty miserable to drive. So just we want to not make any silly mistakes as we come around the back end of the circuit again for one last time. You can see Conzio there, about 1.5 seconds behind. Phillips as well. We've got a good margin. We've just got to keep it clean. Don't need to do anything silly. It's pretty close, top 4, as Conzio and Phillips in the background have had a pretty good race, and we come now into the last sector, making our way into the last corner here. Just don't want to run wide as we make our way into the line to take an amazing historical first win for Audi.
Get in there, Lewis. What an awesome drive, mate. What an awesome drive. Absolutely stellar result.
So great to have Bono with us to celebrate that one. Really awesome first race back. Had a lot of fun with everyone who was racing really clean, really good stuff. That's why I love GT. It was really good. So got a few more videos in the pipeline, so stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, like the channel, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because there's a couple more videos on the way. So stay safe, and hopefully catch you in a future vid.